Hey viewers, today I'm going to show you how to replace the drive belt on a Sole treadmill. This is a Sole F85 treadmill, but the process is the same or at least similar on other models of Sole treadmills. You want to start off by removing the motor cover. There are 5 Phillips head screws around here. You just need to loosen them, you don't need to remove them. And once they're loosened, you can just lift this up and move this out of the way. Now to show you why I'm replacing this belt, you see you have nice grooves here, but as I rotate the belt around here, you see a portion here where it's just all stripped away. And so this part of the belt is just stripped. So every time it hits the pulley on the motor, it starts slipping there, and you end up with a really herky-jerky motion as you're running or walking on the treadmill. The next step is to loosen this tension bolt here on the motor. There's a lock nut on here. It's a 14 millimeter, so I'm going to loosen this lock nut first, just loosen that a little bit, and then I can loosen this bolt a little bit. Now there are 4 motor mount bolts, 2 on each side. I want to loosen these. These are also take a 14 millimeter socket, and I'm using a universal joint here because they're kind of tough to get to. So loosen these, and you don't need to remove them, you just need to loosen them. Like that. Next, you want to loosen the walking belt. So if you go down here, using like the Allen wrench that came with the treadmill, what you want to do is loosen the little Allen bolts down here in the bottom, probably about 10 turns. So do it on each side. 1, 2, 10. 9, 10. Next, I want to remove this bolt that holds the front roller into the frame. This is over on the right side of the front roller. The problem is this bolt is also used to adjust the angle of the front roller. So I want to measure this so I can get, when I reinstall it, I can get the roller back as close to where it is now. So it's straight. Now you can measure it however you want to measure it. You can count like the number of threads in there. You can use a ruler. I have a caliper here, and so again you can measure it from wherever you want to measure it, just as long as you can get it back to where it is now. So I'm going to measure from here to here, and I get about 31.55 millimeters there, and measure it again. .52. So it doesn't need to be exact, but you want to get it as close as possible. Now next, there's a lock nut here on the end of the bolt. It's a 13 millimeter. I want to loosen this, and once I get it loosened, then the bolt's going to start to turn. And so now what I can do is use another wrench on the end here to loosen this and get this lock nut off. And be careful, don't drop it down into the treadmill. And then I can go ahead, use again, it's a 13 millimeter socket on the other side here. I'm holding the nut there, the lock nut. And so there that is. And so I'll put that aside. And so now I can remove the bolt out of here. And then when you get the bolt out of there, go ahead and set that aside. Now at this point, I can lift up the front roller and slide it over to the right a little bit, like this. And then this will allow me to pull the belt off, like this. So I'll slide this off, and so there's the old belt. Now I'm ready to install the new belt here. So I'm going to slide this onto here, slide it over the motor pulley here like this. And then I want to get this end of the axle into the slot over here in this side of the frame here. Once I get that, then I can work on getting this belt kind of centered here on the pulley there, like that. Now I'm ready to reinstall this bolt over here. And so I want to get the hole in the axle lined up here. Get the bolt in there, and then I'll start turning this in like this. Now I want to work on adjusting this back to where it was before. So if I measure this here, I have 30.64, so I want to tighten that a little bit more. .31. .48, very close, just a hair. That should be pretty close. 31.52. And so now I want to put this lock nut back on, so very carefully get it started on here. And so now, holding this on here like this, I'm going to tighten the lock nut down into place. And then remeasure it. .57, that's close enough. And then just make sure it's fully tightened there. There. Now I want to go back and tighten the walking belt again, and so I'm going to turn each of these 10 times. 10. 1, 2, 10. So now the belt should be about as tight as it was before. Okay, now we need to tighten the dry belt. See, it's really loose. There should only be a 1/2 inch to a 1/4 inch of deflection, meaning that it was fully tight. If you push down, you should only be able to push down at most a 1/2 inch, maybe a 1/4 inch. So what we're going to do is use this tensioning bolt here to tighten the tension here, because this will push the motor that way. So it's getting tighter. I still want it maybe a little tighter. You don't want to get it too tight. Keep in mind there are metal cords in this belt here, so the belt does not stretch really. So also make sure that the belt is centered on the pulleys there. So that looks like about right. So now what I'm going to do is tighten this lock nut right here. Tighten that down into place so that doesn't move. And then I'm going to tighten down the motor mounts here. So I've got my socket wrench here with the universal joint on it. Tighten that down. And tighten them down to about how tight they were when you pulled them off. Now before I close it all up, I want to make sure that everything runs okay. So I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to start it off at a slow pace. Make sure that the belt is running straight and then centers. I'll try walking on it, make sure everything seems to go okay. I can speed it up a little bit. And everything seems to be going pretty good, so let me go ahead and turn it off again. Now reinstall the motor cover here. It just slides right on there, and tighten the 5 screws. All done. And that is how to replace the drive belt on a Sole treadmill. And it may be real similar on other brands of treadmills as well. Anyway, if you found this video useful or interesting, if you did, please click like on the video. I always appreciate getting likes on my videos. If you're not subscribed to my channel, go click the subscribe button. I mostly have bike-related stuff, but I have some treadmill, some car stuff. But you might find something interesting in there. And I'm also over on Facebook, RJ the Bike Guy. Go over there. And again, that's pretty much all bike stuff over there. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.